नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So we are reading the fourth canto, chapter 4. Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva, has come to the sacrificial arena. And then Sati was welcomed only by her mother, the sisters. Sati was not welcomed by her father and also the associates of Daksha. Daksha Prajapati, although for a father the youngest daughter is very dear to the father, but because of the hatred towards Lord Shiva, Daksha Prajapati did not even acknowledge the presence of Sati. And Sati did not take that as a personal insult, but Sati felt that this is an insult to Lord Shiva. Because I am connected with Lord Shiva, I am the Ardhangini of Lord Shiva, Daksha Prajapati and his associates are completely neglecting. Sati also noticed that in that sacrifice, all the devatas were being offered oblations, but except Lord Shiva. So Sati's the main purpose for coming to the sacrifice was that she hoped that she would be able to reconcile the enmity between her father and the husband. So when she saw that how Daksha Prajapati had a very deep-rooted enmity towards Lordship, then Sati started speaking. We have been discussing these shlokas for the past few weeks. Last week also, Nityananda Prabhu gave class. How, when the Vaishnava is being offended, how one should respond. That connection, Nityananda Prabhu also gave class. So we will continue the discussion further. So we will continue from verse number 18. Somebody can repeat after me. Atastavoutpannamidam kalevaram
Atastavopanamidam kalevaram
nadharayishye shitikanta garhina
nadharyasye sitikanta gardina
jagdhasya mohaddi vishuddhi mandaso
Jagdasya mohadi vishuddhim dasyo
Jugupsitas yodharanam prachakshate.
jugupshitasyo dharanam prachakste. Translation. Therefore I shall no longer bear this unworthy body, which has been received from you, who have blasphemed Lord Shiva. If someone has taken food which is poisonous, the best treatment is to vomit.
So this is the 18th shloka. Ataha, therefore. So in this shloka, what is the connection from the previous shloka to this shloka? So in one of the commentaries, it's explained that Anvitartha Prakashika. Aham tu Aishwarya Balat Tvam Hantum Shakta Api Swabharyadvara Shiva Eva Daksha Jagana Iti Shiva Yasho Hani Bitya Tvam Na Hanmi Swaprayashchittam Tu Karishyami Ityaha. So Sati is saying that actually I have such a power that I am capable of destroying you by my power. You have offended Lord Shiva, and I am capable of actually destroying you by my power. But then, suppose if I exercise my power and destroy you, then the world will think that Lord Shiva only killed Daksha through his wife. So in that way, Lord Shiva will get a bad name. Shiva's fame, Shiva will become infamous. So out of fear that Lord Shiva should not become infamous, Lord Shiva's name should not get spoiled. So therefore, I am not killing you. Therefore, I am sparing you. So let me perform prayashchitta for having witnessed the offense of Lord Shiva. So with that intention, Sati is speaking this shloka. So Vishwanath Chakotipada also mentions a similar point. I'll actually, he mentioned little more, some extra. I'll read that. Vishwanath Chakotipad says that Aham tu sarva aishwaryat sarva samartyacha tvam swam cha brahmanda kotirapi hantum शक्नुवति अपि स्वभार्याद्वारा शिव एव दक्षं जगानयति शिव यशो हानि भीत्या त्वां न हन्मि स्वप्रायश्चित्तं तु करिष्यामि एव इत्यरे. So she says that actually I have such a power that I can destroy not only you, but I can destroy multitude of Brahmandas. That is the power of me. I can destroy you, myself, and the multitude, and the whole universe, and Brahmanda Kotir. I have the power, but still I am not going to destroy you, because if I destroy you, Lord Shiva's name will get spoiled. Therefore, let me perform prayashchitta. With that intention, she is speaking this. So therefore, therefore, Shitikanta Garihinaha. Shitikanta refers to Lord Shiva. Shitikanta basically means Neelakanta. Shitikanta means Neelakanta. Lord Shiva has a blue throat. What is that blue throat actually? What does it signify? Paropakaraya Vishapanena Neelakantam. For the sake of doing welfare to the whole universe, Lord Shiva drank the poison, and therefore, because of that, his throat became bluish in color. That Shitikanta Garhinaha. Garhina means one who criticizes the Shitikanta. Shitikanta Garhinaha, that means Paropakaraya Vishapanena Neelakantam Shivam Garhate Tachilamasya. Tachilasya. So one who is having the nature, one who is having the habit of criticizing the Neelakanta. That is the meaning of Shitikanta Garihina. Somebody may criticize once in a while, but somebody who is having the habit, somebody who is having the innate nature to criticize, that is the meaning of the word Shitikanta Garihina. So the one who is having the innate nature to criticize the Neelakanta Lord Shiva, that is, who is that personality? That is Daksha. So I am born from your body. Tava dehat utpannam idam kalevaram. This particular body is actually born from you, who has the innate nature to criticize Lord Shiva. So this body, na dharayishye, I shall not maintain this body. She basically indicating that she is going to give up her body. Na dharayishye, I am not going to maintain this body. Ki yasmat mohat pramadat jagdasya bakshitasya jugupsitasya nishiddasya. So she is giving an analogy in the third and fourth shloka. Mohat means pramadat. Sometimes, suppose a person, by some inattention or some carelessness, a person consumes a condemned food. Jugupsitasya means nishiddasya. Some forbidden food. A person has consumed forbidden food. So when a person has consumed a forbidden or a condemned food, what is the prayaschitta? Uddharanam. Uddharana means vamanam, vomiting. Vomiting out that forbidden food, that is the only purification. Shuddhi karanam prachakshate. Vomiting out that forbidden food, that is the prayaschitta for a person who has committed some unwanted wrong food. And so similarly, I have actually obtained this body from you, who has the innate nature to criticize Lord Shiva. Atah tvat sambandhi deha tyagadev mama shuddhir na anyata. Therefore, the only way by which I can get purified is by giving up the body which is obtained from you. So Vishwanath Chakravarti also says that here there is a Arthantara Nyasa is used. Arthantara Nyasa is one among the 93 Alankaras used in the Alankara Shastra. Arthantara Nyasa means what? When another meaning related with the contextual meaning is stated, it is the figure of speech called as Arthantara Nyasa. For example, it's explained that Ravana, malicious to the Devatas, had faced death by the shaft of Ram for his desire for the daughter of the king of Videha. In this world, nothing is hard to be performed by a lustful person. So here the primary meaning is that, primary contextual meaning is that nothing is difficult to be performed by a lustful person. So this primary meaning is related with the corroborated by the meaning of Ravana's death. So it is an example of Arthantara Nyasa. Similarly here, Sati is saying that I want to give up the body which is obtained from you. So she's comparing, or the comparing that with, just like when a person, by carelessness, if a person has consumed certain condemned food, the only way to purify is that by vomiting out that food. So here Prabhupada, since Sati was a representative of the external energy of the Lord, it was within her power to vanquish many universes, including many Dakshas. But in order to save her husband from the charge that he employed his wife Sati to kill Daksha, she decided to give up her body. So we see one difference we can see between Sati and the other followers of Lord Shiva. The fourth canto, second chapter, when Daksha Prajapati criticized Lord Shiva, the followers of Lord Shiva also became angry and they counter cursed Daksha and the followers of Daksha. But in that purport, we read that it was right on the part of Lord Shiva's followers to become angry, but then they became excessively angry. They became excessively angry and they cursed the Brahmanas also, which is wrong, like that Prabhupada mentions. So how that whole atmosphere was actually surcharged with cursing and counter cursing. People got affected with atmosphere of anger. So here also Sati is becoming angry, but even in her anger, she is conscious of the fact that I should not bring a bad name to Lord Shiva. I should not bring a bad name to Lord Shiva. So this is a fine difference. She is not whereas Nandishwara's followers, they became excessively angry and they actually cursed the Brahmanas also. But here Sati is conscious. So sometimes we may become angry because maybe the guru or the person, our superior, may be offended. So we should not tolerate such an offense. But at the same time, if we become excessively angry, then that will also bring bad name to the person whom we represent. So therefore, we have to exhibit our anger, we have to exhibit our objection, but at the same time, we have to be sensitive. We should be a controlled anger. So Sati is saying that I have the power to criticize, to destroy you and the multitude of universes, but I won't do that. If I do that, it will bring bad name to the Lord Shiva. So next shloka. न वेदवादान् अनुवर्तते मतिः
न वेदवादा अनुवर्तते मति
स्वयेव लोके रमतो महामुनेः
त्वयैव लोके रमतो महामुने
यथा गतिर्देव मनुष्ययो पृथक्
यथा गतिर्देव मनुष्ययो पृथक्
स्वयेव धर्मे न परं क्षिपेत् स्थितः.
स्वयेव धर्मेण परं क्षिपे स्थितः. Translation: It is better to execute one's own occupational duty than to criticize others. Elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas, since they do not need to follow them, just as the demigods travel in space, whereas ordinary men travel on the surface of the earth.
So we see Sati is making another profound shloka. So if you remember in the fourth canto, second chapter, Daksha Prajapati criticized Lord Shiva in various ways. For example, in the 4.2.13, Daksha Prajapati said that Lupta Kriyaya Shuchayaha. Lord Shiva does not observe the rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. He said that I have given my daughter to a person who does not perform rituals, who is impure, and who is proud, and who violates the rules of conduct. And Sati is giving a rebuttal to that. Few weeks back we discussed. Chatra means what? Anybody remembers what is the meaning of the word chatra? Anybody remembers? I'll show you the meaning. The word chatra means what? Chatra means chatra means student. What is the etymological meaning of the word chatra? Guru dosha chadanam chatram tachilamasya. To cover up the apparent faults of the Guru is known as chatra. One whose innate nature is to do so is known as chatra. There may be certain apparent faults in the Guru. But a real student, real Shishya, is somebody who covers up the apparent faults of the Guru. Such a person is a Chatra. One whose innate nature is to do so, such a person is a Chatra. This principle is observed in the current times also. See, Arvind Kejriwal is arrested by the ED. So all the MLAs in the AAP party, they are actually they are wearing some yellow T-shirt or something like that. I didn't see detail. So they are all the MLAs. They try to cover up the whatever the scam done by the Arvind Kejriwal. They try to prove he is innocent. Any political leader, Rahul Gandhi speaks, even if he speaks something absolutely illogical thing, the followers of Congress party, they will try to cover up his faults. They will try to justify his words, however illogical it may be. So we see that in the we see this mob psychology in the current times also. So in the spiritual point of view, Chatra should cover up the apparent faults of the Guru. He is a Chatra. So every sampradaya, how they try to defend it is not the same like the fan club or a sycophant culture which we see in the political parties. So they are doing that because they are blindly following and they are actually interested in their own power and position. If they don't be a sycophant of their political leader, their position will be taken away. Only a good sycophant is given the opportunity. But in the spiritual, in the spiritual sampradayas, in the parampara, a disciple is supposed to cover up the apparent faults in the Guru. It is not a blind following. It is there are certain minor apparent faults are there, but that has to be that should be covered up. The covered up means what? Covered up means basically whatever a Guru has spoken, a disciple should actually, if it is criticized in the common this one, the disciple should give a proper explanation and try to give a proper explanation and justify the words of the Guru, the behavior of the Guru. That is the duty of a Chatra. So coming back here, so Sati is doing that because Daksha Prajapati was told that Shiva does not perform any of the observe the rules of conduct. So to that shloka, Shiva is actually giving an explanation for the behavior of Lord Shiva. So she says that Swayeva Loke means what? Swatmani Eva Ramataha. One who takes pleasure in himself. Swayeva Loke Ramataha means basically an Atma Rama, one who takes pleasure, one who is self-satisfied. That is Lord Shiva. Mahamunehe means Samyag Viraktasya. One who has a extreme detachment, complete detachment. That's another quality of Lord Shiva. Such a personality like Lord Shiva, Sri Shivadehe Matihi Vedavadan. Vedavadan means Vidhi Nisheda Rupan. In the Vedas, various Vidhi and Nishedas are told, rules and regulations. So those rules and regulations na anuvartate, na anusarati. So somebody who is self-satisfied, who is Atma Rama, and somebody who is extremely detached, such a person need not follow the rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. Because such a person is qualified for the Nivritti Marga, Nivritti Adhikaratvat, Nivritti Marga. And then she gives an analogy in the third and fourth line. Yata gatir, yata deva manushayor gatihi prutageva. The movement of the devatas and the manushyas are different. Devanam akasham eva, manushyanam bhumau eva. The devatas, they fly in the sky, but the manushyas, they only travel in the earth, in the ground. Ataha eva swayeva dharme pravritti lakshane nivritti lakshane vastitaha. San param anyam dharmam purusham vanakshiped na nindet. So therefore, a person who is situated in his own dharma, he should not criticize the another person who is situated in another marga, who is situated in another dharma. Somebody who is situated in pravritti marga should not criticize a person who is actually situated in the nivritti marga. And that is what Daksha Prajapati did. Daksha Prajapati is absorbed in performing the karma kanda sacrifices. He is situated in the pravritti marga. But Lord Shiva is somebody who is extremely detached. He is situated in the nivritti marga, but Daksha Prajapati criticized Lord Shiva. Vyavasthita adhikaratvena ubayoho satyatvat naiva kshipediti va anyavaha. So the adhikaris, the adhikara eligibility for these two paths are different. So therefore, a person who is eligible and who is following one path, he should not unnecessarily criticize the other person who is situated in another path. That is the rule actually. So Vishwanath Chakravarti also quotes two more shlokas from the 10th canto, 33rd chapter. So after Shukdev Goswami described the Rasa Leela, Parishit Maharaj asked a question. Krishna is the father of Dharma. He is the founder of Dharma. Then how is it that Krishna danced with other men's wives? Like that, Parishit Maharaj asked a question, and in reply to that, Shukdev Goswami gives an answer. So from that answer, Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes two shlokas. Kushala charite naisham ihaswarto na vidyate. Viparyayena vanarto nirahankarinam prabho. My dear Lord, when the great persons who are nirahankarinam, who are free from false ego, when they act piously in this world, they have no selfish motives to fulfill. Swartho na vidyate. And even when they act in viparyayena, even when they act in apparent contradiction to the laws of piety, va anartho, they are not subject to sinful reactions. They are not subject to sinful reactions. And then next shloka, Shukdev Goswami says that Yat pada pankaja paragas nisheva tripta yoga prabhava viduta kila karma bandha svairam charanti munayopi nanakyamanas tasyecha yatta vapusha kutayeva bandha. Shukdev Goswami says that material activities never entangle the devotees of the Supreme Lord, who are fully satisfied by serving the dust of his lotus feet. Nor do the material activities entangle those intelligent sages who have freed themselves from the bondage to all the fruitive activities by the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. If neither the pure devotees nor the intelligent sages are actually are not cannot be entangled by the material activities, then how could there be any question of bondage for the Lord himself, who assumes his transcendental forms according to his own sweet will? Tasya ichchaya atta vapushaha kutayeva bandha. So we see that devatas are flying in the sky, the human beings are moving in the ground, so they have to follow different traffic rules in the ground. They cannot criticize the devatas, oh, you are not following our traffic rules. So they have gone beyond that. They are situated in a different plane. So similarly, Sati is saying that you are situated in the Pravriti mark. But Lord Shiva is completely detached. He is Atma Rama. He does not need to follow the rules and regulations which you are following. The paths of the conditioned and the liberated persons are different. Muktanam baddhanam cha mitaha prutageva gatihi. The muktas and baddhas, the paths of them are different. So therefore, one who is situated in one's dharma should not unnecessarily criticize another person who is situated in another dharma according to that person's qualification. So we see that this is a important principle. It's an important principle that generally the human tendency is that many times a person tends to impose one's own rules and regulations on others who is on a different platform, who is on a different path. So many times the rules of morality, rules of conduct are different for different people based on time, place, and circumstance, based on the different adhikaris. For example, Vali united with Sugriva's wife when Sugriva was alive. So that is wrong actually. Sugriva was there in the Rishimukha mountain, but Vali had the Sugriva's wife with him. So that is wrong on the part of Vali. But Sugriva, after the death of Vali, after that Ram told Sugriva to provide shelter also to Vali's wife. So one may wonder, Ram personally, he practiced the Ekapatni Vrata. But then he understands the culture of the Vanaras in the Kishkinda. Vanaras are generally lusty in nature. So Vanaras are lusty in nature. In the Vanara community, if a woman is not having a shelter, that women can be exploited by other Vanaras. So therefore, Lord Ram did not impose his standard upon the Vanaras. Vali's wife, after the death of Vali, needed a shelter. So with the consent of Ram, Sugriva provided shelter to Vali's wife. So Lord Ram did not impose his standard upon Sugriva. So for example, when Arjuna went to heaven, Urvashi thought that Arjuna is attracted towards her. And Urvashi also wanted to enjoy with Arjuna. And Urvashi proposed to Arjuna, but Arjuna said that you are actually the wife of one of my ancestor, Pururava. So I cannot actually enjoy with you because you are my superior. But then Urvashi told that these rules don't apply here in Swarga. Like that Urvashi told. But then Arjuna said that for you the rules may not apply, but I am from the earthly planet. I will choose to follow the rules of the earthly planet only. So Arjuna stick to that. So oftentimes, for example, somebody is an Indian. Prabhupada said that the Westerners, they have heavenly karma. Sometimes the Westerners who come from a certain background, when they do certain activities, that is not a big mistake because they come from that kind of a cultural background. But if the Indians try to imitate that, if they demand the same concession which is there for the Westerners, then that is a mistake. So sometimes either we try to impose our standard upon the others and criticize those who are not following the standard, or another point is that we try to demand the concession which is meant for some other person. So both these mistakes happen. So Indians, when they demand the standards of the Westerners, or Indians imposing their standards, Indians means what I'm saying is that people from the Varnashram culture, when they impose their rules upon others who are not actually familiar to that culture, and that is a mistake. So either sometimes we try to impose our standards upon others, or we demand the concession which is meant for others. So for example, somebody who is a say brahmachari or a sannyasi, he has certain rules and conducts to follow, and somebody who is a grahastha or somebody who is in pravritti marga, he has certain things. So somebody who is in nivritti marga, he should not impose his standard upon the people on the pravritti marga. Krishna also said that na buddhi bedam janayet agyanam karma sanginam joshayet sarvakarmani vidvan yukta samacharan. The third chapter, Krishna said that somebody who is actually teaching the path of jnana marga, he should not unnecessarily unsettle a person who is in the path of fruitive activities and make him practice the jnana marga by making him give up the path of fruitive activities. So this is a important thing. So sometimes we may see people from one ashrama, they may try to impose their standard on people in another ashram, not understanding their background. And sometimes within a particular ashrama or within a particular varna also there are various standards. So suppose a grahastha ashram is there. Within the Grahastha ashram also, there are various standards for a Brahmana, for a Kshatriya, and for a Vaishya, and for a Shudra. Somebody who is a Brahmana, if he tries to impose his standard on others, Vaishya or Kshatriya or Shudra, then that is a mistake actually. A Brahmana person is following a certain standard. If we criticize the other person, people in another arena, oh, you are not following my standard, that is a mistake actually. Like for example, if you talk about Ekanta Vasa, the union between a man and woman. So in the Grahastha ashram itself, there are 3 standards given. I will quote from Prabhupada's purport and also I'll quote from the Dharma Shastra. Standard 1, the highest standard. Prabhupada says in 3rd Canto 3.30.28. So the union between man and woman, which is only for begetting children, that is the highest standard, standard 1. And then there is standard 2. Those who strictly follow the rules and regulations of householder life, they have union only once a month. This is the standard 2, mentioned in another purport. And then there is standard 3. Standard 3 is that according to the Vedic Shastra, if one lives with one woman, one man, then they are also brahmachari. If one cannot give up the sex life, let him be satisfied with one man and one woman. That is also tapasya, that is also brahmachari. He just mentions living just with one man and one woman. This is a standard 3. He doesn't mention how many times the union, something like that. So 3 standards are there. So the standard 1 is meant for the brahmanas. The other standards are meant for the lower varna. But what if suppose somebody imposes the standard 1 upon everyone? And those who are not able to follow that standard 1 and they are criticized, if a person becomes critical of those who cannot follow the standard 1, then that is a mistake. So yeah, one should not go beyond the boundaries of when a person tries to impose the only one standard, the highest standard upon everyone, not seeing the adhikar of the people, then what is the result of that? People become suffocated and then they may end up having a relation outside the boundaries of marriage, outside the boundaries of dharma. So therefore, the Shastras always talk about elevating people step by step. There is another in the Krutyu Kalpataru. These are all Dharma Shastras. In that also the various standards are mentioned. Celibacy for a householder. So brahmacharya is to be practiced not only with the brahmachari, it's also to be practiced with the householder. The celibacy for a householder is of 4 types. It should be understood that a householder should always avoid ladies other than one's wife. That is a constant rule for all the householders. Besides that, there are 4 levels. Union with one's spouse is the Krishna variety. Union with only one's own spouse is the Krishna variety, black variety. To avoid union even with one's own spouse on the auspicious days and fasting days is the Rakta variety. To approach one's spouse only on the days subsequent to the menstrual is the Shukla variety. And to completely avoid union except for progeny is the Vimala, spotless variety. So why I'm mentioning like that, within a particular Grihastha ashrama, within the particular Brahmachari ashrama, within the Sannyasa ashrama, there are various standards. Even within the Sannyasa ashrama also, there are 4 levels of sannyasas. Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivrajakacharya, and Paramahamsa. Kutichaka means a person has taken sannyas and he lives outside one's house He lives maybe in the outside of the city in a small hut. But his food comes from his previous grahastha ashram. He gets the food from from his previous house only, but he has renounced the house. He is living maybe in a hut in the village, outside the village. This is the Kutichaka. And second is Bahudaka. Bahudaka is that sannyasi who begs little door to door. Bahu Udaka. He begs little food from different houses and then subsists his life based on that. This is Bahudaka. Kutichaka person does not beg, his food comes as a tiffin carrier from the previous house. Bahudaka begs, but he begs little from different people. And then third is the Parivrajaka. Parivrajaka is a person who simply travels and enlightens people about Krishna. Jaivom Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka. Like that when we sing the Prema Dwani of Srila Prabhupada, we say that Prabhupada traveled and preached. Parivrajaka is an even higher stage. And even higher than Parivrajaka is the Paramahamsa who has sufficiently traveled extensively and preached. And having traveled and preached extensively, then he comes to a place and then completely engages in the Nirjana Bhajan, exclusive Bhajan. So we see the 4 levels of even the sannyasa ashram. There are 4 levels. In the grahastha ashram also there are various standards. And then brahmachari ashram. So like that, pravritti marga there is a standard. Nivritti marga is another rules. When a person is situated in one's dharma and then when he unnecessarily criticizes the person who is situated in another's dharma, then that is a mistake. That is what Sati is telling here. See, Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport. The behavior of the most elevated transcendentalist and that of the most fallen conditioned soul appears to be the same. Because the most fallen conditioned soul does not follow any rules and regulations. And the most elevated transcendentalist, he also does not follow the rules and regulations. And there is a shloka, Yascha Mudatamo Loke Yascha Buddhe Param Gataha Tavubau Sukamedete Klishyanti Antarito Jana. Both the lowest of the fools and one who is transcendental to all intelligence enjoy happiness. Somebody who has not taken out the book throughout the year and the person who has studied the syllabus 10 times and revised it several times, thoroughly studied, both these people will be completely peaceful just the one day before the exam. So one who has not studied throughout the year even one akshara, he knows that even if I put effort, I am not going to pass now. So let me just enjoy a peaceful life. He is completely peaceful before the exam because he knows 100% what his result is. And somebody who has studied so meticulously, revised n number of times, he will also be completely peaceful one day before the exam because he knows the whole subject is in the grip of his hand. So Prabhupada talks about that. So most elevated transcendentalists, most fallen conditions appears to be the same. The elevated transcendentalists can surpass all the regulations of the Vedas. Just like a Devatas don't have to follow the traffic rules. But the common man has to face all the impediments. He has to follow all the rules. So although Shiva appears not to observe the rules and regulations of the Vedas, he is not affected by such a disobedience, but a common man who wants to imitate Lord Shiva is mistaken. Common man has to observe. So Daksha found fault with the Shiva for not observing all the strict rules and regulations of the Vedas, but Sati asserted that he had no need to observe such rules. It is said that for one who is powerful like the sun or the fire, there is no consideration of purity or impurity. The sunshine can sterilize an impure place, whereas if someone else were to pass such a place, he would be affected. So one should not try to imitate Lord Shiva. Rather, one should strictly follow one's prescribed occupational duties. So in this way, Prabhupada is writing here. Already 8:56. Yeah, next to shloka, if we go, it will take a little more time. If somebody has any questions or comments, they can share. Hare Krishna. So there are no questions. Remain there. We'll continue from the 20th shloka next time. Thank you very much for attending this class. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।